The new Levo Gen 3 looks amazing, but how does it stack up on the range test? Let's go find out. Riders, welcome to Sam's Bikes, where you know we only talk e-bikes, and today it's all about the range test on the new Levo Gen 3. So the idea of this range test is to make it the average ride that we all do, like our local ride. And I'm going to be riding in trail with 30% support and 70% peak power, which really should represent that average ride. This is the third range test I've done in the last couple of months. If you haven't seen them, the first one was the Levo SL. The second one was the Komatsu on the new Shimano EP8 with a 630 watt battery. And the third one is the Levo. And let me tell you, riders, they are bloody long days in the saddle, but also very interesting. I'm also rocking the same Schwalbe tires on every test bike. So we've got Magic Mary in the front, Big Betty at the back, same tire pressure, and a massive shout out to Schwalbe for helping keep the lights on at Sam's Bikes. So the Levo Gen 3 is rocking a Bros 2.2 motor, a whopping 700 watt battery. It should be the king of the mountain, but let's go find out. And before we get into the test, riders, we are giving away loads of stuff again at Sam's Bikes. I love giving stuff away. We're giving away a pair of Melon sunglasses and a pair of Ride Concept shoes. So riders, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be giving this stuff away. And now onto the long day in the saddle range test on the Levo. Let's go. All right, riders, so we just got into Pardo, the local. This is where I always do the testing because I kind of keep it similar, the testing. I just want to clear something up. I got a bit of kickback last week from a bit of information I gave out with the mastermind. It seems it does work at the moment on Gen 2s, Levos and Canevos and SLs. But I did speak to Specialized and they did tell me that at the moment they do not intend on selling the new mastermind. And in the future, when it gets its next update, the Gen 2s will not be compatible. All right, riders, so we just used 25% of the battery, so we've got 75% left. 275 meters of descending, burnt about 750 calories and done 20 Ks. And let's get on, 75 to go, 4 more hours. Now we've used about 61% of the battery. And I know I harp on about range so much, but it really is one of the most misunderstood parts of e-bikes. And there's so many variables. And what I like to do in my range test is do like the real world range test, how you would actually ride it. I really don't like those videos or those people say, oh, I got 120 Ks, but the motor was pretty much off. You know, e-bikes are designed to give us assistance. So, you know, this is a workout and also a range test, the way we would ride a bike. So that's 2 hours in the saddle. We've got about 59% left of the battery. I'm starting to feel a little bit sugary. I need something sweet, so I'm gonna head off to the local patisserie, bakery, grab something, take a little break, and continue the long range test on the Levo. Okay, riders, that marks 50% of the battery. We've done just under 40 Ks, 1,200 calories, just under 700 meters of climbing. So yeah, it's about what I thought it would be. I reckon we're gonna get around 75, maybe 82 Ks. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty bloody tired. It's 1 o'clock in the day, it's getting hot now in Madrid. I just had a chocolate donut and a can of Coke, so got some sugar in. So let's go, halfway there. Okay, let's talk mullet and why the new Levo's a mullet. As you know, I test loads, I test loads of bikes, 29ers mullets and 27.5. Whoa, overshot that. Now what I think the main difference is, 27's obviously more fun, 29 is faster in a straight line, you roll over obstacles better. But what I reckon a benefit for a mullet is, on an e-bike, is you've already got a lot of weight at the back, And a lot of the e-bikes are quite long in the chainstay. This one's 442. And I reckon it's nice to be able to fling it around into corners. E-bikes can be a little bit boring because they are heavy. They're harder to move in and out of corners. You add that in with a long chainstay and yeah, it makes it a bit of a bus. But especially in summer right now, I'm noticing a massive benefit from having a 29 on the front. As you'd know, I've been riding the SL and the Commensal. And when I go out in the Commensal, I love the Commensal, it's so much fun. But I don't miss like the rollover speed, you know, like going over rocks and stuff like that. What I miss really is coming into corners, and I just feel that my bike, I just don't have the same traction. And also I'm using a super soft Magic Mary on the front on the Commensal, and I still don't feel I have the same traction. Alrighty, downhill, like 25. 3 hours on the bike now. Starting to get a little bit tired, but I'm all good. Let's have a quick little update on the bike. Really enjoying it, still having a little bit of trouble on the setup. Can't quite get that rear shock to be pulling in right. And the gears, the axis, they're just slipping a little bit. I've got to get that checked as well. But apart from that, the bike feels bloody awesome. It really is kind of like a really wild ride. You don't lose that fun factor that sometimes you lose on an e-bike. I don't know, it is hard to explain, but it is very, very dynamic. It can teach you a lesson though. Like, it is wild, and I've noticed myself getting into trouble a few times. At the moment, I'm still in the high setting, and I haven't changed the head tube angle yet either. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna test it like this for a week or so. I'm a pretty good rider. I love to ride, but I'm ex-BMX, so suspension for me has always been a little bit, not a mystery. I can definitely get my head around it, but it just takes me longer than normal, especially when you get the X2. You got sag, you got progression tokens, you got high speed, low speed compression, you got high speed, low speed rebound, and every one of those clickers, when you click them, changes the other ones a little bit. So it is a little bit of a science behind it. Anyway, really loving the bike, eh? Anyone that does love BMX or short trail bikes, you'll know what I mean by it's lively. It doesn't bog down, super flickable. Okay, so we've got 29% left of the battery. And why did I stop here? Because 29% represents what you would have got right now if you had a 500 watt battery on a Levo Gen 2. So we've done 52.3 kilometers, 1900 calories, 970 meters of climbing. So I'm pretty impressed. We've got 29% left. Man, I'm pretty tired as well, riders, but we're gonna get it done, and then I'm gonna go have some serious food because I'm starving. Let's go. All right, so we're heading back home now. We've got 13% battery left. The color of the Mastermind has changed. So I think that's giving me a warning. I should bloody go home. You know, but one thing I can say, riders, is the training has definitely been going well, because 2 or 3 months ago, I would be beside myself right now. I actually feel all right. Like, I'm tired, but I'm actually all right. I could probably go for another 2 hours. Anyway, so the last 12 Ks home now. Let's hope we don't run out of battery. I kind of think we might. It could be close. Let's see. All right, so we just hit 10% and I'm on the home stretch home. I want to say I probably feel a little bit of de-restriction now. Like, it's just probably putting it into more of an eco mode. It's still giving me power. But yeah, I think I am. It's subtle. I think I am working more. Let's see what it does when it gets to 5%. And we just hit 5% now. It's definitely giving me a lot less assistance. When I turn it off and then turn it back onto trail, I can just feel it. So You know, riders, you probably don't want to go much under 5%. It's very interesting. I've got 4% left, and I just put it in turbo to see if there was actually any power left in the motor. And turbo's giving me more or less equivalent to what trail was giving me. And now trail feels like it's giving me what eco was. So there is a little bit of gas left in there. And it seems like 3% battery is no power. So I'm going from off to eco to trail to turbo, and there's nothing left. So riders, we are done. And yes, it's definitely time for some food. And riders, we're back in Madrid, the range test done. I'm not gonna lie, it's a different day. I did shoot the conclusion on the same day, but I made next to no sense. I was a bit delusional, I had to eat, and yeah, so it's another day. But well impressed with the range test, and let's have a look at the statistics. So we did 78.6 kilometers in 4 hours and 42 minutes. We burnt 2,500 calories, and we climbed 1,400 meters in vertical elevation. So I'm pretty impressed with that range test. It's kind of what I thought it would be, around 80 kilometers. And these are my major take homes. And I'm gonna start talking about range more in vertical elevation, because for me, I think that's really where it's at. Like all these e-bikes, if you put them on the flat, you're probably gonna get similar range in a way, obviously more as the battery gets bigger. But the real test is when you actually start going up into the mountains. So let's check these numbers out. On the Levo SL with the 320 watt internal battery, we got 964 meters of vertical climbing. But also, riders, we did work harder. Our average heart rate was around 150, where on the full fat e-bikes, our heart rate was more like 130, 135. And on the Commencal Meta Power with the EP8, we got 1,171 meters. And on the Levo Gen 3 with the 700 watt battery, we got 1,490 meters. So what does that really mean in a real world test? A lot of you are probably thinking, I don't do 1,500 meters of vertical climbing. Yeah, that's true. But the other day I was out with a group of riders, 5 of us. And my mate Jackie is 54, 55. He's not the fittest guy at the moment. He's been doing a lot of work. So he was riding a Focus Sam with the Shimano E8000, so 75 Newton meters, and a 350 watt hour battery. And you know, so in the group, he had the smallest battery, the weakest powered motor, and he was the least fittest out of the group. And he actually really suffered and ran out of battery the first out of the ride. So it's kind of like done a full circle back to the analog days where we have the stronger riders and the not so strong riders. And definitely if you aren't the strongest rider in your group, a bigger battery, a 630 or a 700 watt, is going to allow you to stay in higher assistance modes, so support you more in those rides. I found the Levo on the range test very linear through the whole usage of the battery. So when we got to Pardo, I used exactly 10% of the battery. And when I left Pardo, I had 13% left. And when I got back to Madrid, I had 4% left. So pretty much on the money. But let me tell you, when you got down to 5%, you really decreased the power that you were getting out. And then when you got to 3%, you pretty much had nothing left. So riders, if it was me, I wouldn't be going down much under 5%, and definitely 3% has no more power. So right now, out of the range test I've done, the Levo with the Bros is definitely king of the mountain at the moment. But exciting news, I will be testing the Trek Rail in the coming weeks. And I've heard very good things about the Bosch motor with the 625 battery. So let's see how that goes. And riders, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this range test. If you have any questions, please let me know. I do reply to everyone. And if you have not subscribed to Sam's Bikes, please do so. Share it with like-minded people. Make sure you do subscribe, because we are giving away in the next couple of weeks some Melon sunglasses, some Ride Concept shoes, and we're going to be doing the long-term test on the Levo SL and the Commencal SX. We're going to be mulleting the Commencal SX as well, so lots going on. And riders, stay safe out there, and I will see you next week.